another team who's disappointed, the Twins. They added in free agency Taylor Rogers, the reliever, 1 year, $2 million. Victor Caratini, a catcher, 2 years, $14 million. Josh Bell to play first base, 1 year, 7. Julian Merriweather, another reliever, was added to the roster. They traded for Anthony Banda, a reliever from the Dodgers. Tristan Gray, infielder from Boston. Eric Wagaman, infielder, outfielder from Miami. And then Alex Jackson, another catcher from Baltimore. They did lose Michael Tonkin into free agency. He's still out there, but that reliever is not getting many bites. Christian Vasquez, another guy on their roster last year. He's still a free agent, the catcher. Edward Julian, infielder, he got traded to Colorado. Johnny Pareda, a catcher, he got traded to Seattle. And Pearson Ole, he was a pitcher, and he was also traded to Colorado. For the Twins, how will they cope with losing their ace, their starter, Pablo Lopez, for the whole season with Tommy John? And who needs to step up other than Joe Ryan in this rotation?
I mean, I think everybody has to step up in the rotation. To just put it blankly, I don't think that there's one guy. I'm sure John's looking at a Mick Abel like, hey, can you crack that rotation, my guy? For me, the ceiling of this team, like kind of every year we've talked about the Twins on the podcast, comes down to the health of Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis. If those two guys could give you over 140 games, maybe you could sniff a wild card. If not, and when they probably don't, you probably won't be a playoff team. I think the Twins should kind of rip the Band-Aid off the way that the Cardinals did and just say, screw it. We're going to be bad for a little while. Like, let's get all the prospects we can. Let's move Buxton. Let's move Royce Lewis. Let's move Joe Ryan and see what kind of hauls we could get back.
I mean, it almost seemed like last year they were kind of getting ready to kind of gut the team a bit at the trade deadline there with offloading a lot of their players.
They moved off Correa, which I believe was the right move for them.
Yeah. Duran got traded, Griffin Jax.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we see just kind of the Band-Aid fully ripped off at this deadline, and the three guys that I mentioned get moved.
Where would we see, a good landing spot for those three guys?
Well, Joe Ryan's probably going to be whichever contending team had a starting pitching injury. I mean, that would probably be the team that's going to put their chips on the table for him. Royce Lewis at third base is interesting.
The injuries will probably scare away some teams.
Yeah, I don't know who is willing to necessarily pay the price. Obviously, again, if a contending team has a third base injury, something to make note of. The Yankees, it could be interesting. He's got a good bat. If he's healthy at that point in the season, could be worth a flyer, depending again on what the price is. I'm just quickly running through all these teams in my head. Maybe Boston. We'll see how they're working out at third base at that point in the season.
The Mets.
Seattle, they just lost Suarez. Donovan's probably going to play third for them, but you could theoretically move him to second. For Buxton, I think the Phillies is an interesting team to watch. Absolutely for him. Maybe even the Padres could be interesting.
So how likely is it that any of these guys just end up on the Dodgers?
Man,
I feel like we can't count that out. I don't know. I feel like
I think maybe Joe Ryan. I just don't. With the Tucker signing, Buxton feels like where are you going to play him? Like does he even crack their lineup? Sounds terrifying, but kinda. And same deal with Royce Lewis. Are you benching Max Muncy for Royce Lewis?
Unless
again, in a vacuum, would I take Royce Lewis over Max Muncy? Yes, but if you're the Dodgers, are you actually putting assets out there to Minnesota to get Royce Lewis when you have Max Muncy? Probably not.
Now, with the Twins, what do we see defining their 2026 season? They have some youth, but not a lot. They have some vets, but nobody great outside of the guys that are already established on their roster. Are they likely to do a lot of losing? A lot of injuries like they have every year? What's going to define their season?
This isn't the first team that I've predicted this for, but I think if everything goes right for the Twins, people will look back at the 2026 season as the year they traded for blank. The year we got blank prospect in a deal, whoever that turns out to be, the year we got blank from blank.
Right. In addition, the year Walker Jenkins, or whoever.
Right. And then like you start to see some of their young guys move up and play. But if in the ideal world, it's we moved one or two of our big pieces for a prospect that turned out to be a superstar for us.